I made this video once last year, and I'll make it again this year, and probably again the year after. But today I'm going to be talking about when you should be anticipating your chickens to be laying their first egg. Also, I just want to say a quick public service announcement. You can skip to the actual video down below if you want to skip this out. We are currently up here getting hit by a potential tropical depression or storm, and it does look like we could get wind gusts of up to 55 miles an hour here, which if we do, then we might lose power. So if you don't see any long videos for a couple days, my video essay this Saturday gets delayed, that's exactly why. Anyways, let's get into it without further ado. So first of all, we need to consider when you got those chickens. When did you buy your first batch of chickens, or any batch of chickens, and they're not laying eggs for you? First of all, if you got them back in May, and it's right now, like the day you're watching this today, it's like the day this is uploaded, which is hopefully Thursday, you might as well say, yeah, they're not gonna lay for a little bit, because guess what? They need to be at least, and I mean at least 16 weeks old to lay eggs, and that's the bare minimum. Most of the time, it's usually about 18 to 24 weeks old, and for some chickens, that can go up to 30 weeks if the certain breed of chicken is different. So just remember, your chicken will not, and I mean will not, lay you eggs like in the first 2 months. So I'd highly recommend checking up with this, because guess what? For that first 2 months or 3 months, your chickens aren't gonna lay eggs. If you got them back in March, they're probably not gonna see any eggs until roughly right now. But let's just say it's been really past those 24-week mark, and really, your chickens just aren't laying you anything. Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly why they aren't laying anything right now. And there's a couple reasons. The first one I wanna talk about right now is because of stress. Here in the Northeast and Northwestern Connecticut, if you know Connecticut, you know its weather, there's literally something different every couple minutes. The other day, I was struck by lightning. About 45 minutes later, there was a really nice sunset and it was clear. And then just yesterday, it was raining all day long, and then it cleared up randomly, and I got some crazy shots of the Milky Way last night. Guess what? Welcome to Connecticut. The weather is gonna put all types of different pressure on your chickens. And if you're elsewhere, like this summer's not been that bad. Like there has been a couple points this summer where it has been pretty hot, but right now, your boy is in a sweatshirt. It is like 64 degrees right now, which, I mean, I should stop complaining. It's like the greatest it's been all summer. But at the same time, I'm gonna say once and for all that yes, it's probably the weather that could potentially be impacting it, because the weather goes up and down, it fluctuates. When there's thunderstorms, it causes humidity, and chickens don't really want to be laying eggs when the weather is fluctuating like that. And also, if you live elsewhere, like I was about to say, it's really hot. The hottest it's been this summer, I believe, was about 98 degrees here. It was pretty close to 100, but it didn't actually get to 100. But elsewhere, it's been well above 100. In fact, it's been above 110, 120 in some cases, in some cities down south. So that could be an impact. Another thing is that the chickens that are getting ready to be laying eggs, this is probably not the case, are getting snatched by something. So like, let's just say that like your chickens are just about to lay eggs and they just go missing. You find a pile of feathers. Yeah, your chicken is probably getting turned into some KFC right now by like a bobcat, a fox, coyote, something like that. And trust me, I know the struggle. It's really difficult, especially if it's your first time lost and they're supposed to be pets too. I know the struggle, but guess what? It's going to happen. When you raise chickens, you're gonna be attracting all types of different things into your farm. So it is absolutely 100% best to keep your chickens as safe as possible. This is not likely the scenario, because if that were to happen, then you still get eggs. The numbers would just go up and down a lot. So realistically, this isn't the case, because it would be a really strange coincidence if a chicken's about to lay an egg, and then the day it's supposed to lay its first egg, it just drops dead completely. Another highly unlikely one is disease, because usually it's just 1 or 2 chickens that might get this, because when they're laying their first egg, tons of different diseases like egg yolk peritonitis and other similar things will actually end up coming out of them laying their first egg. Now let me just say, this is highly unlikely, and I've never had a case of this on my farm personally, but yes, it can technically happen. So that's why I'm going to keep this segment brief. And also, there's a chance that your chickens are indeed laying eggs, but there's 2 things that could happen. The eggs are getting snatched and turned into someone's breakfast. Most likely by an animal. I mean, it's possible like one of your neighbors is just like sneaking into your yard at like 8 in the morning and stealing your stuff, but that's highly unlikely. But like if you're dealing with a case where your chickens have already laid eggs, but instead they're not laying eggs, but instead they just all of a sudden go disappearing, I'd recommend putting in some trail cameras, or even better yet, a system into the chicken coop that'll detect movement when it does it records, so you can actually play back the footage and know exactly what's going on in that chicken coop. That's probably what we'll do if our next batch of chickens doesn't really lay eggs like that for a little bit. That's what I'd highly recommend you do. Also, there's another chance that your chicken's just laying eggs elsewhere. Like, if you come across a nest, it's more than likely your chicken's just trying to either go broody in an area, or they found an area they prefer to lay in. Like, for whatever reason, in the mint patch right up beside our home, there's a couple chickens that lay eggs in there frequently, and this morning they got chased out by my puppy Linguini. It has to happen at some point. As you can see here though, this chicken coop is secure, and most chickens do lay inside of the coop, which is also another scenario. Your chickens are laying eggs in the coop elsewhere than what you're looking for, because your first egg is not going to be in the boxes. You should set them up there in case they want to go in there, but most of the time, those first couple eggs will likely be laid on the floor underneath the coop, so it's best to look for them. Well, I do indeed hope this video helped you out, because it was just most likely the fact that your chickens are literally just either laying eggs elsewhere or they're not ready to lay eggs just yet. If you want to learn more about chickens, then I recommend clicking this video in the center of the screen, which might teach you some brand new information, even as a chicken expert. It's a 1 hour long video. There's chapters in it, so you can navigate through it as best as possible. I'll see you there.